30 years ago, cable television came to Garden City, and almost immediately, our local sports started to show up in people's living rooms. Soon after that, Omni Edition Television and GCTV were born. Since then, we've had the privilege of bringing your kids football, baseball, softball, volleyball, basketball, hockey, soccer, and more into your living rooms. We've seen championships and routes. We've seen future college and pro athletes and bench warmers. We've done games in the bright sunshine and torrential rain, scorching heat and freezing cold. We've televised hundreds of games with hundreds of volunteers. And when we started, you could only watch GCTV on McLean Hunter Channel 18. Now you can watch us on 3 different cable companies and around the world on the internet. Today we begin our 30th year of recording memories and being a part of Garden City. It's been my honor to be at the helm, and I hope you've enjoyed every minute of it like we have. We're not done, but I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of the volunteers, athletes, and especially you for watching. From Garden City High School in Garden City, Michigan, Omni Edition Sports presents Cougar Football. Tonight, the Garden City Cougars take on the Redford Union Panthers, opening night 2013.
Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Where tonight the Garden City Cougars play host to the Redford Panthers in the second week of high school football in 2013. Hello, I'm Ted Fournier along with Phil Henry. And Phil, both of these teams are looking for their first victory. They say the best improvement for a football team is between the first and second week. This is the second week.
Absolutely. They've had their audition last week, and they didn't do too well, so this game right here promises, it's a league contest, so it promises to be an exciting one. And we have a special ceremony right now, Ted, that honors a young man who played on this football team last year, and in this very game, one Vinny Myers. His number is going to be retired this evening in a ceremony.
We direct your attention to midfield for a special presentation. This past spring, Garden City High School suffered a tragedy with the loss of senior Vinny Myers. Tonight, the Cougar varsity football team would like to pay tribute to their fallen teammate. The varsity football team captains are presenting 3 jerseys to Vinny's family and the Garden City High School administration. The frame number 23 jersey will be placed in the Cougar Hall of Fame as the football team retires Vinny's number. The other 2 jerseys are being presented to his family. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and give a round of applause to Vinny's family in his memory.
A very fitting moment for a very well-liked young man who was tragically killed last spring.
It was a cold March evening, a lot of snow, and Vinny was coming home from the high school, heading up towards home, and tragically got hit by a car. And Garden City is fittingly memorializing him, and those jerseys will hang up in the Hall of Fame. And it's important for the kids that are in school right now, but also the kids that come down the road when they ask why 23 is there. His story will continue to live here in Garden City.
Yes, and the kids are wearing T-shirts. There were slogans picked out, from Vinny's writings on Facebook, and they have T-shirts, keep calm and smile for Vinny. A lot of kids are wearing those tonight. Just a terrific moment here at Garden City High.
All right, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back with tonight's action between the Redford Panthers and the Garden City Cougars.
So take these words and sing out loud, 'cause everyone is forgiven now, 'cause tonight's the night the world begins again.
Incorporate Marketing is the official apparel provider of Omni Edition Sports and GCTV. Located on Middle Belt Road just across from Garden City High School, Incorporate carries an incredible variety of Garden City Cougar apparel and swag. They also feature Garden City East and West gear and are your source for silk screening and embroidery. Owned by third-generation Garden City resident Jim Neve, Incorporate can help you design the perfect look for your company or event. Visit their website at incorporategraphics.com.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Lona's Pizza in Dearborn Heights is a sponsor of Omni Edition Sports and GCTV, and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Located on Beachdale and Ford Road, Lona's is owned by Garden City's own Bob Oliverio and the Oliverio family. With the best pizza in Metro Detroit, Lona's delivers to all of Garden City. Round, square, or pan pizza, Lona's is the place. They also carry great subs, salads, and wings. Give them a call at 313-274-0100. That's 313-274-0100. Lona's Pizza.
Welcome back to Garden City High School, where tonight, Phil, a perfect night for football. Absolutely beautiful. In fact, if this is baseball, we'd play two here. Give us a little rundown there, Chuck Gatica Jr.
Well, the hippy-dippy weatherman says that it's going to be 74 right now at game time. Winds are from the southeast at 6 miles an hour. Humidity at a very low 35%. And the barometric pressure, wow, can you believe that? 30.17. I don't know that I've ever seen barometric pressure at that reading before, ever. That means something special's in the air.
I don't know what it means, but I feel good about it. I feel good about the barometric pressure.
And so do the cows. Could be less dew for them in the morning.
Well, Garden City has won the toss, and they decided to defer, and they're going to kick off. Well, when they announced it, Garden City was kicking off from the south, kicking towards the north, and I think the referee has reminded of that. Looks like number 25, Dylan Hallam, is going to kick off, and he's telling his buddies to let's head on to the other side of the field. And now they're going to have to mention to Redford Union to switch sides. Redford Union will get the ball first. Both of these teams, when they got off the bus today, they checked to see if they brought their defense. Because last week, Garden City ran into a juggernaut from Mumford in Detroit, and they gave up 52 points. And the Panthers from RU, they ran into Avondale from Oakland County, and Avondale scored 42 points. So let's see if the defenses show up today. Both teams were looking for their first victory. These have been long-time rivals going back many, many years. RU in the gold pants, white shirts. Hallam with the ball teed up at the 40. And we're about ready to go. Garden City in their black uniforms, orange letters. And we already have a clock problem. Who we got deep there, Phil?
Well, deep is going to be number 5, Tyler Hathaway. And over to his left is going to be number 10, Tyler Olette. Tyler Olette is one of the players to watch in the Western Wayne County's Blue Division, Ted. And along with number 1 in this game, Kevin Brown Bako. And he's going to be playing wide receiver. Where's the number 1 for the Garden City Cougars? So 2 players to watch in this league are going to be on the field tonight. This ball is going to be over Olette's head, and it'll bounce into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, the Panthers will take it over at their own 20. Last week, number 12, Alex Shimmons was the quarterback. He threw 20 times, only completed 3 passes, and his number 1 receiver was a sophomore, Jalen Smith, number 4. So those are some of the other players to watch as we are about ready to call the first play here. The game just beginning. Garden City defense, and Scott Murray, the coach, has a number of defenses there. Sometimes he stands up all 11. Sometimes he has 3 down, 5 linebackers. So we'll see what happens. As number 10, Ouellette's going to get the start at quarterback, as you predicted. Ouellette turns around, hands it back to the left tailback out of the wishbone, and he spins across the 25 for 8 yards, all the way up to about the 28.
Tommy Dawson took it. It looks like a full house T backfield, Ted, that they're going to be running. Going to keep the ball on the ground against the Cougars. We have no scouting report on Redford Union. They did give up 42 points. They were shut out last week, so they have yet to score a touchdown this season. Looks like they're going to try to go with the ground attack and play a little ball control, Ted.
61, Tristan Stevenson Sopko is the center. Two receivers to the far side. Actually, 3 to the far side. We have one back.
Go from the full house backfield to a spread formation.
There's got to be almost too much time here. I mean, they took a lot of time in the huddle. Modified shotgun. Ouellette decides to run around the end. He's got room. He's got first down. He's got the 35. He's still on his feet over the 40. And he picks up good yardage, almost 14 yards. That was a long time between plays.
Chad Ford, number 51, one of the gang tacklers over there, Ted. Nice job by Ouellette as he took the ball from center, on the probably from the pistol formation, if you will, and then just called his own number, turned and had the wide receivers blocking for him and picked up first down yardage.
Well, they had a slot receiver, 2 receivers to the far end, 1 to this side, and then Ouellette just followed the strength of the formation. 3 plays, 3 different formations. Once again, 1 back behind Ouellette, 17's in motion on a counter play in the backfield, breaks a tackle across the 45, leans forward almost to the 47, tackled by 22.
And Nick Clark, number 6, Ted, did a great job on that tackle also as he grabbed Tommy Dawson around the ankles and held on for dear life as Dawson came from flanker position and took like a deep pitch, if you will, cut it nicely up the center of the field. Nick Clark was the first man to grapple him, and then a host of guys after that.
Nick DeHeater was his 22 that was helping on that tackle. Here comes 61. Nice 3 plays so far for the Panthers. They've gained positive yardage. Ouellette turning around, talking to Jalen Smith, the only back in the backfield. Smith gets a handoff, comes around the right side. He's got daylight, and he gets tripped up by 25.
Dylan Hallam.
Hallam tripped him up, or Smith would still be running.
Yeah, Dylan Hallam did a nice job, an open field tackle, and like you said, I think Jalen Smith would still be motoring his way. Right now, Redford Union's coming out, and they're very impressive in this first drive, keeping it all on the ground.
They're getting yardage in huge chunks. And if you can just get yardage running, they're going to see that all night. Really tight formation. Everybody's in tight. Smith bending over like he's feeling a little pain in the backfield, and we're having a hard time with the referees. Do we have a penalty here?
Illegal shift on the offense.
Garden City came into this game, Ted. They were picked by the coaches to finish first in the newly aligned Western Conference Athletic Association's Blue Division. A couple of longtime teams have moved out. Thurston and Crestwood moved out, and they were replaced by Romulus and Clarenceville.
Well, we have confusion here. If there was an illegal shift, then that play should be 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, which was the 47 or 48 yard line, and they've just walked 5 yards off from the end of the play. And the referees are not, the Redford Union isn't helping. They want the ball right where it is. And we're going to have a discussion out there. The ball was marked on about the 47 yard line, and the problem is they moved the chains before they settled the penalty, and now they have to figure out where that play started, and it was on the 47 yard line. So this ball should go back to the 42 of the Panthers, and they've just marked it back to about the 47 of the Cougars. So there's a good 10-yard difference right now in where this ball should be.
Yeah, now here comes the mark-off, Ted. The one official was motioning Redford to go back, so I think he's anticipating. You're right on this one, Ted. You're all over it, as usual, as you see the chain gang is moving back.
And now the chain gang they're confused. They have the line of scrimmage at the 42, so if they mark it off of here,
should be at about the 48-yard line then.
The first down was at the 47, 48 in that area. And the first down marker should not move, but the down marker should move. And I think this is what you have is a United Nations compromise. The ball is on the 45. That's not correct, but it's good enough for both teams.
Official finally picks his flag up.
Okay, second down. And Ouellette is ready to go. Smith is in the backfield. Smith gets the ball, and he is met by a host of Cougars behind the line of scrimmage for the best play. 25 once again for Garden City is on the tackle. Dylan Helm. Helm's had a nice first quarter here.
And then submarining there was John Giangrande, and Giangrande got once again a hold of that ankle. And I know they teach you that, Ted. You know, if a guy's by you, grab something, grab onto a shoelace, cleat, whatever you can get. You'll see in the play, you'll see the play here in the replay is Giangrande submarines underneath, and he's got a hold of him at the bottom of the pile. Then, like you said, then Dylan Hallam came in and cleaned up from there.
Number 3, Manya Tate for Redford Union's into the game, along with Ethan Trimble, number 44. Now we have a wishbone formation, which they opened the game at. Ouellette, he's still got the ball, and he's met behind the 40-yard line as back-to-back great defensive plays. And once again, number 10 is in there on the tackle.
That's Trey Witt Smith in there. And here you'll see Ouellette is clearly going to call his own number. And right here, there's deep penetration. And number 52, Nick Edney was in. He had the outside containment, Ed, brought Ouellette back to the center, and then there was nothing but Cougars there to bring him down. Bring up a long fourth down.
Alex Simmons is the punter, and deep standing at the 25 is Kevin Brown-Bako. Punts away. It's going to go to Bako at the 30, 35. He gets outside 40, 45, 50. Still on his feet, 45 down to about the 43 on a very nice return of 28 yards by Kevin Brown-Bako, and Garden City will start in Panther territory.
Absolutely. So he basically just got the punt back. You know, the distance of the punt, he brought it right back, and Garden City's in business. And now you see why Brown-Bako was one of the players to watch in this blue division, and he's exciting every time he gets the ball. Garden City last year was primarily a running team, but Dako still averaged 30 yards a catch.
Garden City spread out all over the field. 4 receivers, 1 back. Hub's the quarterback in a modified shotgun. He takes the, flares it out. It's caught outside the 45, maybe picked up 1 or 2 as they approach the 42-yard line.
And that's going to be a block in the back out there on Denzel Tinsley. Tinsley was definitely pushing the defender from the back. And I'm sure that they're going to want to take that. It's going to be a big walk-off, Ted. But there they were trying to get, Garden City was trying to get Brown Bako out into space.
Got a block in the
let
back,
him create something.
number 81.
Well, one thing that over the years that we've talked about in many of these games that we've talked about is do not shoot yourself in the foot. You know, penalties, turnovers. Garden City, they did score 20 points against a very fine Mumford team. Mumford, Scott Murray was quoted in the papers saying, you know, Mumford's probably going to give Cass Tech a run for their money in the PSL, and that's high praise for a team.
Well, the Mumford is going to be probably playing Martin Luther King, Cass Tech, Detroit Douglas, all great Detroit City programs.
Coming around from the far side, ball's on the ground, and we have a scramble for it.
One official's calling it down, Ted. He looked like he was down, and they're going to spot the ball. It's going to be Cougar ball right at the end of that play.
Leroy Fedorko, watch this ball. Yeah, I think you're right. He was down, and then the ball came loose.
And there's the scramble for it. But clearly, you know, knee, elbow, you know, that Bako was definitely down.
Hub's back. He pumps. He brings the ball down, and he's tackled. And I don't know. It looks like it's loose again.
Another
and are you saying that we got it? And they do. 3 plays, a penalty, and 2 fumbles, and that's a very, very slow start by the Panther offense.
And here's Hubbs as he went to looked to his right, and there was a Redford Union defender there, pushed it back to right into another defender, and then when the ball came out, it's on the ground right there as he did a pump fake and just didn't have the time. There was deep penetration by both of the Redford Union ends, and it really boxed Hubbs in, and the ball came out, and now Union's going to be in good shape.
Well, they have the ball right at the 45-yard line of the Cougars in their second possession. They drove about 35 yards, and they were stopped. Once again, very big wishbone, a lot of space between the fullback given to the right fullback. He crosses a 45, and he's met by a host of Cougars for a very little gain, if any.
Jalen Smith came from the right side of the wishbone, Ted, and tried to get something going on a crossing run. And Garden City has really stiffened, and it looks like their defensive line is really leading the charge right now. And they're getting a hand on the ball carrier and then allowing the linebackers to really clean it up, and that's the way it should be.
So 2nd down and 10. A little confusion by the wide receivers. We have 2 to the near side, 1 to the far side. Modified I formation. No, we have 1 back on a little option play, met at the line of scrimmage. Roulette was looking to pitch, but he holds on to the ball, and he fights his way for about 2 yards, and it'll be 3rd and 8.
I think that was 22 that had the initial hit here. Sowards was the one getting up there that had the initial hit on him that slowed him down. Or excuse me, Nick DeHeater.
The clock is not working on the scoreboard, so they are keeping the clock up here in the press box, and everybody in the field is trying to figure out what the time is. Okay, we're back in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the near side. Through the hands of Roulette. Roulette picks it up. He's trying to sprint through, and he's tackled at the 49-yard line for a loss of 5 yards. That was all started by the the center hiking the ball through the hands, and we got a replay.
And watch at the end how Torino Nichols, number 8, kept his eye on the prize right there and tracked him down. Showed a nice burst of speed, did Nichols. Closed the gap on Olette very quickly and made a nice sure tackle.
4:42 left on the field here in the first quarter. And Shimmons is going to punt again. He's standing at his 40. Brown Bako inside his 25. Ball is fumbled. He's going to try to pass it. It's thrown up and intercepted. No. Did he bring that down?
Yes, he did. He brought it down, Ted.
And we got a flag.
There could be a block situation over there.
I thought he threw it, and all of a sudden he's running.
It almost looked like a design play from punt formation, and then right there, just too much penetration. Number 10 there, Trey Witt-Smith.
Holding. Penalty decline. First down.
Witt-Smith, number 10. I'm impressed with the Garden City speed from a couple of different positions, Ted. They really have some quickness that are doing really well at closing these gaps on the Union players here in this first quarter.
Well,
0-0 is our score, but the Garden City's starting to pick up the tempo a little bit on the defensive side of the ball.
Garden City's best offense has been while they were on defense.
And you asked if defense was going to show up after last week giving up 52 points to Mumford.
4:03 on the clock.
4:03 as Garden City picks up the ball. Hubs about 3 yards behind the center. Everybody's in tight. Man's in motion. Hand up right up the gut for Dorco, number 28. Big gaping hole inside the 25 down to the 21. And a very nice run following the center and the 2 guards. It looks like Garden City are going to go into a hurry-up offense.
Yes, very good. Pick up the pace right now, Ted, as we're winding down in this first quarter. There's no score in this game, 0-0, but your defense has been playing their hearts out there. Now it's time for the offense, and they're doing just exactly that. That play was set up by Brown Bako coming into motion, and Redford Union kept their eyes on him. And then here is Fedorko again. This time he didn't fool anybody, but that last play was well set up by the previous set of downs by Garden City. Great play call there.
28 Fedorko on the carry.
Charlie Strasser's the center. One of the guards is Jay England. We'll get the number of the other guard here in a second, number 75. Big guys in there. 75 is Dylan Campbell. Those are the guys that made the hole for Fedorko. Nice spread. Once again, a hand back to number 11. Gaping hole between the guard and the tackle. Gets inside the 15.
Julius Sanders on a counter play, Ted, as he came from the wide out position. And I like Garden City right now. They're really showing, they're opening their offense up a little bit from different positions and keeping Redford Union back on their heels. This is the end of the first quarter drive. 0-0 is the score.
Christian North, number 67, with a nice block on that play. Hubs gets the ball. Hand off to Fedorko as he's trying to head. He across the 10. He spun around, met rudely at the 10, and it's going to be awful close to the first down.
You like Fedorko, he's getting that tough yardage as he's willing to go into the middle right there and then try to break something to the outside, and showed just enough speed to pick up that first down. So now the Cougars are in business at the 10-yard line. They could probably get a first down, very possible.
Nick Edney, the other lineman, the guard on the left side, doing a fine job blocking. So the Cougar line showing dominance over here. Hubs turns around. Brown Bako still on his feet. The 10, the 5, fights his way down to the 1, and I think they're going to say he's just short.
There was not an official position down there, Ted, for that one, as they finally went back to Brown Bako, and he shows his talent right here as he breaks a tackle, and look at that quickness. And there was not an official in position, Ted, to see whether he made it in or not.
First and inside the 1.
It's got to be the 1-inch line that we're talking about down there.
I think you turn around and give it to Fedorko. He's earned, and we got a timeout by Redford Union. And once again, this drive, which started out about the 33-yard line, has been brought to you by number 52, Nick Edney, number 64, Charlie Strasser. Let's take a look at this last play and see if we made it in.
And here we go. Watch the very first miss right there. Then this burst of speed by Bako. And right there, he might have had the ball in his left hand, Ted, which is a good spot to have it, but that might have kind of hurt him by the pylon. If he could have stuck it out sometimes like they do like a loaf of bread, which is ill-advised, I would say. So probably a good call, even though there was not an official position down there at the pylon to give Garden City first down and goal to go.
And just to finish my thought here, Nick Edney, Charlie Strassner, Christian North, Dylan Campbell, and Jay England. I like to call them the big uglies, and they've brought this drive to you as they have just been dominating the offensive line and the line of scrimmage. And as I say every year, if my big uglies beat your big uglies, I win.
And there's been some very good play calling.
Strasser over the ball. Hubbs is going under center right now. And he's just leaning forward, and he's into the end zone. And we have the arms up. Touchdown, Garden City. They take an early 6-0 lead.
Tyler Hubbs.
Here's
just what you just called, Ted. The big guys up front just had the push going, and it was on that quick call also. Don't give the other guys a chance to get set up, and they didn't. And just a nice big push, and Kyler Hubbs called his own number and bowled his way into the end zone for the first score of this game. 6-0. Garden City leads, and the extra point is on its way. Actually going to go for two,
going
Ted.
for two. Hubbs, man in motion. Federico right up the gut. And if you're successful, they take two. And big number 77, Jay Engler, leading the team off the field. At the fine job by the offensive line, and Garden City leads 8-0.
Well, that's a nice play right there also, you know, and what I see now is they're going with that quick snap count, Ted. That's what you want to see, a nice pace, you know. Don't let the other team dig their heels in at all. And then Fedorko's really kind of showed us something here, is he's got real good cutback ability. He likes to work the center of the field, and he did a nice job there. Started to his right, then quickly saw the hole and closed to his left and into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
And there's a sight we all come to see here, cheerleaders doing push-ups. I think we have a cable show here, Phil.
Well, you know, they might be the only people here that don't want to see Garden City run the score up. Everyone else is hoping for a big score. Garden City, as I said earlier, comes in here by the coaches poll slated to win this division.
Hellam, 25 to kick off. Approaches the ball at the 40. Ball is kicked down to inside the 10. Dropped back at the 5. Ouellette trying to find space, and he's smothered around the 15. And the Panthers will take possession right there. And once again, dropping the ball. Even on that punt, I'm not sure if it was designed because it was a two-hopper back to the punt. Back to the So a muff punt, and Garden City takes advantage of it here in the first quarter.
And that was number 29, Robert Nowak, getting in there on that tackle along with you know, the rest of the team, as they Ouellette just didn't show the speed necessary to break through the gang tackling Cougars.
Alex Schimmer, the new quarterback, hands off to number 3, and he's nailed in the backfield by 65, who burst through. Brandon Smith shot from his defensive line position. Watch this, Phil.
Manya Tate. And Manya barely got the ball tucked away, and he was just blasted as that play fooled absolutely nobody. You see Tate coming off to your right there, and just as soon as he made a move, And you called who on the tackle, Ted?
I thought it was 65, Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith, one of the down linemen, doing the dirty job in there.
Handoff on a reverse to number 3, and he's tripped up.
That's Manya Tate. He was the one that just got crushed going the other way. Now they're trying to showcase his speed.
Garden City is dominating the line of scrimmage at this point, and their defensive linemen are busting up the line, and the runners, who have a lot of speed for RU, are not get any clear shot.
And, well, Dylan Hallam has had a career here in the first quarter, Ted. He's just been all over the place making these tackles, and they give credit to that defensive line. And that's what our job is here, Ted, is to let everybody know who those guys are, because their work sometimes goes unnoticed, and they're doing a yeoman's job in there now. They're dominating this football game, and that's the Garden City offensive and defensive lines.
Third down. Shimmer takes the back to pass. Here's the first pass. He arches it down the field, and no good. Intended for number 21, who made a diving effort to pick it up. Number 21 is Tommy Dawson. And this will bring fourth down, and I expect to see Shimmer punting it away here.
Yeah, he showed a nice arm on that one, did Shimmer, Ted, and there might have been a step that Dawson had. Sometimes another team can do that to you, kind of lull you in just a little bit. So Garden City, that gives Garden City something more to think about on the defensive side. Watch out for the big play.
Brown Baco's at the 47-yard line of the Panthers on this punt. Cougars should have good field position. Ball is going to be down around the 47-yard line of the Panthers. And here comes the offense for the Cougars.
They're going to get off one play, Ted. There's 2 seconds left here in the first quarter. Garden City ahead 8-0. And now you like to see this. The pace is starting to pick up just a little bit. They're out there. The guys are in position. I think you called it earlier. They've gone with the no huddle. And that's caught Redford Union off guard.
And they're in a running formation. A little veer going to 2 wings. Everybody else in tight. Hand up a counter up the middle down to the 40. Pick up about 6 or 7.
Julia Sanders.
Well, we've played exactly 1 quarter. Garden City with their first lead of the year. They lead 8-0 at the end of the first quarter. Let's take an opportunity to listen to what Coach Scott Murray had to say about his 2013 Cougars.
All right, Coach Murray, this is your 4th year coaching Garden City, 2 consecutive 500 seasons in a row. You got to be pretty happy with that.
Oh yeah, our kids work really hard, and I think we've come a long way in the last 3 years, and we're looking to continue to build on that success that we've had.
Talk about what you did over the summertime to get ready for this year.
Well, our kids, we've been doing the same program for the last 3 years, and we do a lot of lifting and speed training and that type of thing. It's pretty much our lifting programs has been the same, consistent for the past couple of years. Normally it takes about an hour to get through the program, and then same thing with our speed training program. It's about an hour long too as well. So it's a couple hours, about 6 hours a week, and it can be grueling at times, but our kids did a great job. They rise to the challenge and that type of thing, and they work hard. So.
And really, it's the off-season preparation, other than talent, that makes a big difference between the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was quoted in the paper when I was first hired as off seasons where you win football games, and I truly believe in that, and obviously I think that is shown.
Talk about some of the kids you have coming into this season.
We've got several kids that are great contributors. We've got 2 junior captains, which is really unusual for us this year, along with our 2 senior captains. One is Ryan Conroy, the other one's Kevin Brown-Bako. Those are our senior captains. Ryan's a special kid. He's about 5'3", 160 pounds, wrestler type kid, really hard-working kid. Kevin Brown-Bako, A little taller, and he's still lean, but real good athlete, that type of thing. Kyler Hubbs has done a great job in the weight room in the off season. He's added probably 20 to 30 pounds of muscle that he is, and he's our starting quarterback, and also is going to see some time at linebacker. And then our last kid is Nick DeHater. Nick's another kid that worked really hard in the off season in the weight room. Did a good job for us.
Tough opening game against Mumford, but I looked at the stats, and you and I had a phone conversation. If you looked at the stats, you would have had no idea that you lost that game.
No. If you look at those stats, those are pretty impressive stats. We had, from the offensive perspective, we had 329 yards on the ground. So we averaged 6 yards a carry. We had 62 touches of the ball, and no offensive turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. At times we just couldn't get in the end zone, that type of thing. But no, our kids played really well. Actually pushed them around up front. They had some kids that were really big, unusual for what we normally see, that type of thing. And from the defensive perspective, we only allowed 120 yards in rushing, so it was difficult for them to run on us. But they did have they had a great quarterback, and they had great wide receivers, and that was difficult at best to keep those guys in check.
What do you have to do against Redford Union to win tonight?
Just play our game. We'll just play our game. We're good size up front. I think defensively we're pretty sound fundamentally. Offensively, I think we're sound fundamentally, and we're just going to just get after them a little bit, And it's a big game for our guys because, of course, we're retiring Vinny's number tonight, and so the emotional end of it, our kids going to play their hearts out for Vinny tonight.
At the 6-yard line from a pass from Hubbs. First and goal, Cougars here at the start of the second quarter. Hubbs hands it off to Federico. Federico follows that mammoth line and gets almost down to the 2, maybe down to the 1. And I'm telling you, there is just a tremendous push by the offensive line on each play.
Well, they work together as a unit, Ted, and one of your captains is on that unit. He just talked about there. The coach did in Ryan Conroy in number 73. Look for him out there, or if he's one of the defensive linemen, but he is certainly one of the captains of this team. But once you're getting that push, just like you said, they're starting to dominate up front. Things can happen.
Federico, he's met at the line of scrimmage. He falls forward, and he is stopped for little or no gain. Let's see if they do a counter play. Well, Saunders, number 11, is on the left side. Brown Bako, number 1, is on the right side. Hubbs, Federico behind him, reading his number. Hubbs, hands off again, and did he get across? Touchdown, Garden City, and it's 14-0, Garden City. Federico with the touchdown.
Second effort by Leroy Federico as he was met by that proverbial wall, Ted. If you see this play, he'll bounce off of the wall the first time, and it was second effort. It kept his legs driving that got him into the end zone. A lot of humanity down there. This time they're going to go for the kick. Ted, last time they went for 2. Dylan Hallam.
Hallam out of the hole to number 6, and that's Nick Clark. Nick Clark puts the ball down, the ball's up, and it is
no good.
No good. So, at the start of the second quarter, it's 14-0.
And that was all set up by the bomb to Kevin Brown Bako, 25-yarder, Ted. And Bako showed his superior athletic ability. When he's on the outside like that, it's very difficult for another team to cover him one-on-one.
Well, let me tell you a little about Kevin. Kevin is an outstanding young man. Plays a little point guard for the basketball team, and he had a little height advantage out there, and the ball was thrown up, and He caught it at the top over his helmet and pulled it in. No problem whatsoever. As Helm is going to set up the ball in the 40 to continue the second quarter here. Garden City up 14-0. And what I've been impressed at since the second possession is just the offensive line play. Garden City can do whatever they want to behind that offensive line, and they're having their way at the line of scrimmage. And RU is going to have to figure a way to break up the continuity of that offensive line as Helm approaches the ball. Little chip shot goes down. It bounces at the 15, picked up behind the 10. Trying to go wide, and sometimes it's better to go north and south instead of east and west. And RU there's a little scrum going on.
That was Tyler Hathaway that fielded that one, Ted. He started forward with a good head of steam, and then his momentum just took him right to the right, and by then there were just too many kickoff coverage guys down there. You know, number 8 was in on that one, Torino Nichols, and number 7, Kevin Browning. Just a whole host of them. I like how the first guy is getting a hold of the ball carrier and holding onto that ankle, if you will, while the other Cougars can pile on.
Yeah, there's been a lot of gang tackling here as RU's got the ball deep in the shadow of their own goal line here at the 10-yard line to start their first possession here in the second quarter. They're down 14-0, and they're going to have to start airing it out. They threw their first pass on third down. Ball is handled, hits the line of scrimmage, breaks out over the 15-20. He's on his horse. He's got one man to beat. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 4, 3, touchdown. RU 90-yard run. Is that the sophomore, number 4?
Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith hit the line, bounced out, and there was nothing but green grass between him and Warren Avenue. And just like that, watch this and you call it.
It's a broken play, Ted. Right here, the ball is bounced on the ground. He picks it up, and by then the over-pursuers, just bounce back up perfectly. And at this point, it's off to the races. There's absolutely no way anybody's going to catch him. A valiant effort there at the end by number 30. I believe Cody Johnson was there chasing him down, but he just didn't have the angle on him. And I was going to make the point as this play was unfolding that sometimes those broken plays, Ted, can be the ones that really give you trouble. And that's exactly what happened as Smith took the handoff, and he had nowhere to run to his right, and then he fumbled it. The ball bounced right back up into his midsection perfectly, and then he really only had one person to outrun right there at the line of scrimmage. And once he got out into the open, there was nobody that could catch up with the speedster.
Well, the coaches are going to talk about containment. And you said right, once you drop that ball on the ground, anything's possible. And the ball came right back up, and Jalen Smith just broke containment, and he only had to beat one guy, and that was around about the 25-yard line, and there was nothing between him and pay dirt.
Well, he's a sophomore up here playing with the varsity, Ted, and we got an opportunity to see. He definitely showed tremendous speed, and from right about the 15-yard line, so 85 yards, he just really was picking them up and putting them down. And Garden City will shake that off because that was just a case of over pursuit. It was just a case of bad luck, and then once the runner got momentum, he was off to the races.
RU only had 85 yards offense last week, and 27 of it was a run by Jalen Smith. So Jalen Smith on one play gets 90 yards, and it's a 14-7 game. And if the rest of the game is as exciting as the first couple minutes of the second quarter, you and I are going to be hoarse by the end of the night.
Absolutely, kind of reminiscent of last year's Garden City Redford Union game that ended up 49-28. Garden City pulling away to win that one. Started out rather slowly at 7-0 in the first, then Garden City and Redford Union put on a scoring show. So let's see what this one brings us.
Touchback on the kick by number 12, Alex Simmons. He's a senior, and he got his foot into that one.
Here's some names from last year's game. Tomas McNeil, senior. He ran for 168 yards. And Gian Grande, probably a brother to John, ran 11 times for 84 yards. He had a couple of scores. Tomas McNeil had 4 in that game last year. Kyler Hubbs, sophomore quarterback, went the whole way. Completed 6 out of 8.
Well, Garden City has the ball at their own 20. Hubbs is back in the backfield. And takes it out of the gut. Hubbs keeps the ball, pitches it back.
Sanders on the pitch. Julius Sanders.
Sanders picks up a couple. Maybe a long one. Hubbs is the quarterback. Sanders is, well, he can be anywhere in the backfield. Brown Bako is right now tight. Hubbs pitches, kind of tosses it backwards awkwardly. Picks up another couple yards. And that's for Durko. Both times they've tried to get outside. They've had a lot of success between the tackles, and now they're trying to get outside. And one thing RU has is speed. And they, if you can beat them quick straight at them, that's sometimes the best, but you give them a chance to run at you.
There's a defensive team getting a little who and what for after giving up that 90-yard touchdown run.
Hand up to Perdurko up the middle. He's spun around, and let's see where they mark it. If they mark it the left foot, he might be short. It looks like the nose of the football is on the 30, and that should be a first down.
Nice running by Federico. I'm getting more and more impressed with him as this game goes on. And he is one that's willing right now to kind of come off the middle, and he's bouncing it on the outside. And he's having some success. And then, of course, we saw the second effort down there at the goal line that ended up in a touchdown run for him, where he stood up on his first attempt and then just kept driving his legs until he got in.
That play was between the tackles again. Hand up to Perdurko, off the tackle, kicks it outside, 35, 37, fighting for the 38. He's going to be short of it, and he picks up about 7 on that. Once again, starting inside the right tackle, bouncing over around the shoulder of the right tackle, and picks up about 7 yards. Be second down and a long 3.
Going with that no-huddle offense right now has been really, that's what turned the game around offensively for Garden City. They came out a little slow in honor of Vinnie Meyer's night, number 23 from last year's number retired.
Back to pass, Hubbs. He lifts it up. Bako going for it. And he has broken up nicely. Number 17 broke that up.
Rashawn Wilkins Bailey. A lot of hyphenated names now, Ted. You know, a lot very popular.
Well, Mom says, hey, you know, I'll take Dad's name, but you're going to have my name too.
Well, so when we call off some of these names, you know, we just have to kind of enunciate correctly. Sounds like one long name.
So it's second down. Third down, 3 to go.
That was thrown up almost like a jump ball style, that last one.
Hand it out to Perdurko. He's met at the 39, and he's going to be a yard short. A nice tackle.
I would say the Union team is getting kind of hip to that move as they want to get the first move and wrap up Federico quickly, because he has shown a willingness to just keep moving his legs and breaking off some yards.
Garden City saying that we can get this. Hubbs sneaks inside the guard. There's a scrum push forward, and I think he crossed over to the almost to the 42.
Julius Sanders getting away with one there as he flung the Redford defender down. Tyler Olette right in front of the official.
Well, he just ducked in and said, Jay England, who is a large drink of water, I'm following you. And England pushed the pile back about 3 yards, and they have first down. Hubbs with the ball. Hands off Dawson. 45-50, dives down to the 49-yard line into Panther territory.
Sanders, they've had very good success with that counter play, Ted. As you can see, Sanders coming from basically a flanker position. And there he comes in the quickness right now. Both teams are showing quickness, but Garden City seems to have power on the lines, and they're definitely showing quickness at other speeds. And they're out-quicking Redford Union.
Hubbs 2 yards once again behind the center. Saunders and Brown on the wing, back to pass. Looking for Brown. Throwing down, jump ball, you called it, intercepted at the 29, run back across the 40, and he's going to be tackled at the 43, and you called it last time. It looked like a jump ball, and Garden City lost a jump.
Yeah, he just lofted that one up in the air, Ted. It had way too much air underneath of it, and that allowed Olette, who was playing center field on that, and you know that they're going to be double teaming Brown-Bako, and that's exactly what happened. Olette had that one in his sights the whole way.
Well, they've thrown 3 passes, and Hubbs hasn't even looked at anybody else other than Brown-Bako. As soon as he got the ball, everybody if it's a pass, it's going to Brown-Bako, and they haven't even looked at the other side.
Now, those type of throws, were made famous during the Scott Mitchell and Herman Moore era, where it's like throw it to the guy and let him out-leap everybody, but this is the wrong spot on the field.
I was thinking
for that
more
kind of a play.
I was thinking more of Y.A. Tittle and Ellie Sherman.
Oh, wow.
And clapping for the ball is Simmons. And
so you sure it wasn't Carl Sweetan
Illegal
and Gail
procedure
Cogdill?
on the offense. 5 yards.
Well, we knew it wasn't Milt Plum, because Milt Plum couldn't hit the ground if it wasn't for the law of gravity. And William Clay Ford said that.
Well, that started the things back then. We had 3 quarterbacks back then. He couldn't figure out which one to keep. The one he let go went on to win Super Bowl and piloted the undefeated team.
Hey, Earl Morrall?
Earl Morrall, that's him.
What about Jim Nanowski?
Earl
we're digging back, and nobody even mentioned Tobin Road. One back behind the quarterback. Shimmons back, takes 3 steps. Now he's in trouble. Number 51, he throws it away. Are they going to call intentional grounding?
Chad Ford, what a great job by Chad Ford in pursuit of Alex Shimmons. Shimmons thought he might have had a step on him, but Chad Ford had some great closing speed. Once he saw Simmons in his eyesight, he dragged him down. We're in the...
We got a clock here, 6:15 on the clock as we watch this replay.
There's Ford coming in basically untouched, and Shimmons just didn't stand a chance.
Nice crowd here on the opening night here at Garden City's home field.
Student section always in vogue here. 2 different sections for the students.
I want to acknowledge that the football crowd is still larger than the soccer crowd here in Garden City. And my good buddy Jeff Zappulo would like to see a little growth on the soccer crowd.
Talking soccer?
There's Smith,
football.
Jalen Smith. Tries to get back to the 40. He's got to get all the way down to the 46-yard line.
And then, of course, a big night in retiring a jersey, Vinnie Myers. And I want to wrap up the stats from last year's Union Garden City game, which Garden City won 49-28. We talked about Kyler Hubbs and Tomas McNeil and Gian Grande, but Vinny Myers was in that game, and he had some rushing attempts, return kicks, and also was recovered a fumble.
All right, we have 2 receivers to the far side. Number 5 is coming here to the near side. 1 back. Simmons, the quarterback. Passing situation. 2-step drop. Throws a line drive right across the middle. Caught at the 45. Spun down to the 46. Way short of the first down. The receiver is number 88 for Redford Union. And guess what?
We have no 88
we
listed.
Have no, maybe it's 68.
Could be.
Or 86. Or 80.
Keith
Boggs. We'll go with Keith Boggs.
We're going to give Keith Boggs credit for that one. As we're in the second quarter, the score, as you see, Cougars up with 2 scores, 14-7.
Bako lets that one hit. It's going to bounce near the 20 where it's down. Number 44 for RU gets down there, and that's Ethan Trimble. And Trimble downs it at the 20, and the Cougars have the ball on the 20. Under 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. They lead 14-7. Garden City got out to a 14-0 lead, but then gave up a long 90-yard touchdown to sophomore Jalen Smith for RU, and we have a tight game going as we near halftime. Garden City up the gut. Nothing doing that time. Federico is met rudely around the 21.
Federico is quietly having a very nice evening. You know, a nice burst of power in there, trying to punish these Redford Union defenders, and has shown some bursts of speed.
Dan York, the field announcer, and 30-year inspiration for GCTV, Omni Edition Sports, said there's 4:20 on the clock. Handoff on the counter going across the left side of the formation. Brown Bako gets up near the 25, so it's going to be 3rd down and 5 as we get inside the 4-minute mark. Ball's on the 25-yard line of the Cougars. They lead 14-7.
Those counter plays have really kept Redford Union honest. Garden City's made a nice use of them. They've used them from the left side with Julius Saunders and from the right side with Bako.
Hand up the gut again. Bounced off. He got hit at the 29. Federico dropped back on the 27. Let's see where they mark it. He's going to be 2 yards short of the first down, and let's see if Garden City punts it away. Yeah, looks like Garden City didn't bring their punter tonight. 4th down, and they're calling it 3. As we are under 3 minutes, and they called number 62, got invited across the line of scrimmage early, and he took out the invitation, and we're going to have a first down.
Offsides on the defense.
John
5-yard penalty. First down.
An absolute huge play. And like you said, they must have let their punter, at home, maybe still in detention. They still have detention nowadays. You know that, don't you, Ted?
Well, Scott Murray, there's a coach in Arkansas, I think it is, that never punts. No matter where he's at, he never punts. Federico crosses over the 30, tiptoes his way up to about the 32.5. And the clock is running. We're under the 3-minute mark here. And if he scores, it's an onside kick. He does not believe. He says if you don't give the ball to the other team, they don't score. He don't punt.
Well, I guess knowing that going in, there's no way that you could get let down by like a bad call. And they've gone for it.
Brown Bako in motion. He's blocking. Cross the 40 up toward the 44-yard line for Federico. He's been the workhorse tonight, and I'm telling you, as long as Garden City is going north and south and just busting the face masks of the other team, they are just scoring. And we have a first down and a timeout. Timeout, RU.
Well, this is where the size of the teams, they have the size of school, but obviously the participation isn't there on Redford Union because they look like they have just about 20 guys over there on varsity. As we look at the schedule here, Ted, and there we are, last year's opponent. You can see there, Redford Union was soundly thumped by these same Cougars, 49-28. I've talked about that game. And, of course, there was Annapolis, their struggling program there.
Well, Annapolis is back, and I think next week is the Annapolis game. Garden City has added a couple quality opponents this year. You're going to see them finish out against Romulus, and the last game is going to be against Livonia Franklin. And there's Osmond. What's the? There it is. Osborne's on there. Look at that schedule. Annapolis is a rebuilding team. Clarenceville, a smaller school entering the league. But when you get down there to Etzelford, Osborne, Romulus, and Franklin, that is going to be a tough finish for the Cougars. They are going to play some big boys this year.
Yeah, they absolutely, and there's some new games in there for them. And of course, Robichaud. Last year we saw Robichaud go deep into the playoffs. They were 9-1, and they were taken out by Grosse Ile in one of the great games that I've ever seen. In a football game and in a playoff atmosphere. They have a new coach there, Al Demps. Al Demps coached Detroit Douglas. Several great seasons down there, so Robichaud's always a tough team, and that's on that schedule also, Ted.
Second and a long 3. Ball's inside Panther territory, just inside the 50-yard line. Once a pass forward across the middle, and it's caught down inside the 15-yard line.
And that's more like it right there.
By Saunders that time, right?
Play action, Ted. Play action pass and a pump fake right there, but he didn't throw that one up for grabs. Threw it on the back shoulder, if you will. So really, Brown Bako was the only one that could have reeled that one in. And
the key to that is that it was not telegraphed.
Look at it coming off that back shoulder. So
that was Saunders on the catch, number 11.
Oh, Saunders was on that one.
Saunders on that catch.
And we saw the one.
Federico cuts inside the 15, and he's brought down. As the clock is running down, then we got a timeout. Garden City. The scoreboard is not working. The clock is not working, so it's 2nd down and 10, and we'll try to figure out the time on the clock as Garden City would like to score here and get that momentum going into halftime. Here's Redford Union's last year, and you see the Garden City game, which was not very good. And they played some good teams over there. They played Robichaud, they played Romulus, and they played Mott, and they played Romulus twice.
And, of course, I don't think that the Robichaud score there. Now, this year right here, as you can see, they've got Inkster on their schedule. Well, that's going to be kind of interesting. They've already won that one by forfeit, of course. And Robichaud's next week. And then they have, a nice meaty schedule coming up. And, of course, their big rivalry game against Redford Thurston at the end of the year.
Thurston beat Berkeley last week. Hubbs trying to get the ball into the end zone here to end the first half. Hands it to Federico up the middle. Big push. Federico is tripped up after 2.
And they're starting to get wise to Federico in there as he's the lone setback, Ted. Hubbs takes the center and then hands it right off to him. And right there, number 50 just shed the block off and was Xavier Underwood.
32 seconds, third down, hands off to Brown. Bako, big hole, up the gut, and inside the 5.
Should be a first down, Ted.
And Garden City quickly calls timeout. Brown Bako on the counter had a huge hole.
Yeah, he saw pay dirt too. It was a touchdown saving tackle by Union.
First down.
To bring him down at the 4-yard line, and that's where it's going to be spotted. But Garden City has really done a great job by pounding Federico like they are in the middle and then running those counter plays with Saunders and then this time Brown Bako. That was looked like number 22 on that. Tyler Price was a touchdown saving tackle for Redford Union as we get a chance to see part of this large crowd out here supporting the Cougars. Cougars and Cougar Power. Lots of blue and orange, and of course the Vinnie Meyer t-shirts worn by a lot of the kids.
All I have to tell you how nice tonight is the barometric pressure was 30.17. I think that says it all.
Well, there's nothing else that needs to be said. I think they're going to do a study to see how Garden City got it so low or came up with such a positive number.
First and goal here. We're running out of time. About 20-some seconds left on the clock. The clock is not working, so we're trying to listen next door where they're keeping the official clock. Hubbs under center, pitches is out this time. Federico's met in the backfield, skips through that one, the push is on, and he falls close to the 1-yard line. And let's see if they call timeout again.
Timeout, Black.
And Federico is limping up as he...
This time they tried to get him out in space, Ted, and you see the young man, I don't think he could go down. As he attracted definitely a lot of bodies. Cougar bodies trying to push him forward, and of course the Redford Union bodies trying to either strip the ball or push him backward. And Federico couldn't fall down because he was being held up by the two on-rushing defenders.
So let's see if Federico can go at this last play. He was hobbling a little bit.
I like what they did there, though. They had been running Federico primarily, up the middle as he was trying to break it off to the tackles on his own, and this time they pitched out to him, trying to get him in space. I kind of wonder on those pitches, though, why they would use the short side of the field for that. There's a lot more defenders over in that area.
Well, Federico has stayed in. Saunders is on the left side, Brown Bako on the right. That big offensive line spread across. And it looks like Hubbs is going to get under center. He's calling for the ball. We had a little movement. And now let's see if there's a flag.
There is definitely a flag on the play.
A little
it's going
movement.
To be illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure by number 11, Saunders. He leaned forward. And that's all it takes.
Illegal procedure on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
So you go kick a field goal here?
Well, that'd be Hallam coming into the game, and I don't see any signs of Dylan. He's over on the sidelines. Well, they're going to do what they should be doing, spreading the field out. They have Brown Bako in the slot.
9 seconds on the clock.
So you could get 2 off here with a pass, Ted. Touchdown.
What?
Or?
Yeah, Bako caught it, and then as he turned around, it came out of his arms. What they're going to say, he held it long enough. Touchdown, Garden City.
A nice seam route, Ted, as Bako was in the slot position, and there Hubbs put a lot on that one, put a lot of mustard on there. I think he learned the error of his ways by throwing those what we call jump balls earlier, and one of them was picked off. This time he just rifled it right in.
So it's 21. Nice play call in there. You called it. They spread out the defense, and they found an open spot and threw a bullet pass into Brown Bako. And a nice drive. And remember, that all started way down on the 29-yard line or 27-yard line where it was 4th down and 3, and they got RU to come over offsides and kept the drive alive.
Absolutely. But with 9 seconds left right there, and they got their own 5-yard penalty on the illegal procedure that took them from the 4 back to the 9-yard line, Ted. That was a great call because it was a quick play, and had it not been successful, you would have had an opportunity to run one more. But it was successful, and that does give Garden City now a 21-7 lead, as this first half is about one play away from being closed out. Garden City, a tremendous drive, Ted. You called it all the way down. A nice mix of inside and outside running plays, and then a couple of nice pass plays. One to Julius Sanders, and the other one, big one, to Kevin Brown Bako.
Ball's bobbled at the 10, now it's 15-20. Trying to get up the middle, and he breaks loose. He's got the kicker to stop him, and he is going to be tackled at the 45-yard line. And RU almost stuck it back in Garden City's face as the clock was winding down.
And the gun is trying to go off. And right there, another broken play opportunity. But this is Olette, and he's one of the players to watch for Redford Union. And he weaves his way through there, Ted, and that was almost disastrous. Great job by Dylan Hallam.
And that's the end of the first half as the Cougars are going to the locker room. You are watching Cougar football opening home game on Omni Edition Sports. We're going to take a short time out, and we're going to bring you the exciting second half of action. Ted Fournier and Phil Henry. We'll be right back.
So take these words and sing out loud, 'cause everyone is forgiven now, 'cause tonight's the night the world begins again.
Incorporate Marketing is the official apparel provider of Omni Edition Sports and GCTV. Located on Middle Belt Road just across from Garden City High School, Incorporate carries an incredible variety of Garden City Cougar apparel and swag. They also feature Garden City East and West gear and are your source for silk screening and embroidery. Owned by third-generation Garden City resident Jim Neve, Incorporate can help you design the perfect look for your company or event. Visit their website at incorporategraphics.com.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Lona's Pizza in Dearborn Heights is a sponsor of Omni Edition Sports and GCTV, and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Located on Beach Daly and Ford Road, Lona's is owned by Garden City's own Bob Oliverio and the Oliverio family. With the best pizza in Metro Detroit, Lona's delivers to all of Garden City. Round, square, or pan pizza, Lona's is the place. They also carry great subs, salads, and wings. Give them a call at 313-274-0100. That's 313-274-0100. Lona's Pizza. KFC in Garden City is a sponsor of Omni Edition Sports and GCTV, and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Garden City's KFC is located on Ford and Harrison and is owned by Garden City residents Dan and Paul Bogowski. featuring all of the Colonel's great menu items, including original recipe, extra crispy, and grilled chicken, crispy strips, sandwiches, chicken pot pie, those famous sides, and more. So stop by Garden City's KFC on the corner of Ford and Harrison and tell them that you heard about them on Omni Edition Sports.
Welcome back to Garden City High School. The lights are on. It's getting a little darker out here. Great crowd here on opening night, the second week. This is the opening home game, Phil. Outstanding first half between Garden City and RU.
Absolutely. This is Vinny Meyer's retirement night as far as his jersey number 23 being retired in an early ceremony, Ted. And then Garden City said they were going to play their hearts out for this young man whose life was ended rather tragically last spring. And they came out and they looked a little lethargic right at first, and they went with a no-huddle offense. And, boy, they really picked up the pace, and they've used a variety of inside and outside plays to keep Redford off balance. And then you talked about it earlier, Ted. The big guys on the defensive and the offensive line have at times just simply dominated both sides of the ball and really have given Garden City a nice solid 21-7 lead at halftime.
You're talking about Nick Edney, number 52, number 64, Charlie Strasser. He's the center of that big line. Christian North, and then Dylan Campbell, and then the man mountain himself, Jay England. Just outstanding blocking up front. And for the most part, if Garden City wants to run between tackles, they've had their way.
Absolutely. And then, of course, now what we're going to see in the second half is we look at the size of the rosters out there. We see that Garden City has a full complement where they can actually run two different lines, offensive and defensive. You look over on Redford Union side, I was bringing it up earlier, there's about 22 players over there, Ted. Eventually, a lot of these players are doing double duty. They're going to tire as this game goes on, and that should really open up some things for Garden City, who has shown a power football with Federico running power, and they've showed finesse, and they've showed speed football, too, on both sides of the ball.
Well, your score is 21-7, and let's not underestimate the quick hitting ability of RU. They had a 90-yard touchdown run, and they almost broke one on the last play of the first half on a kickoff return. So RU can hit, they can score quickly, and once again, we remind you that both teams are looking for their first victory of the season tonight, and RU is going to kick off. Garden City won the coin toss, chose to kick off at the beginning of the game. On the north side of the field, RU in the away white jerseys, Garden City in the dark jerseys, and we're about ready to start the second half. The ball is taken at the 10, down with the 15-20, and up to the 25-yard line. Some nice hitting on that kickoff return. I was watching some of the blocks up front, Phil.
They're really laying the lumber, are they? And once again, we want to make a point about a play like that, Ted, where Brown Bako actually basically mishandled it. That can work in your favor sometimes, a la that 90-yard touchdown run by Redford Union, or it can work against you. And that time it worked against Bako Brown, as he was just unable to get ahead of steam going.
Kyler Hubbs is the quarterback all the way. He's about three steps behind the center. Federico, number 28, the big back. This time Hubbs keeps the ball, heads toward the 29-yard line.
I like that play coming out here in the second half. We've seen primarily the handoffs to Federico as the lone setback a lot of times, then using counter plays from the left and the right, using Julius Sanders from the left and then Kevin Brown Bako from the right. This time it was a fake to Federico, and Hubbs called his own number and went off tackle for a gain of 3 yards.
Bako's in the slot here. Hubbs taking his time. Bako in motion. Hand off to Federico right up the middle. Sees across. Oh, he drops the ball, and it's RU picks it up as the ball is knocked out of Federico's hands. And there's that Ouellette. Right, you talked about Ouellette at the beginning of the game, and he's having a great game.
And right here, there's the first time that some really great running room by Federico, and the ball just was basically the defender pulled his arm and the ball shot out there. And Olette, who has had an interception and now a fumble recovery, Tyler Olette, going to be coming out of the game as we see him trotting off down there, but gives Redford Union great field position here in the second half. Garden City up 21-7. And Redford Union's in business here, Ted, early in this third quarter.
Ouellette was the starting quarterback, and we're waiting. Redford Union is looking toward the sidelines, and I'm not sure what's going on here. They're going to have to call timeout as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 players, and I don't think there's a quarterback out there.
We're going to watch a replay again here. Watch, there's Federico coming at you. And here he comes. Now, this is one of the first times he's had some great running room. And right there, number 67 just grabbed him by the arm from behind. And that's been unusual because we've seen Leroy Federico. He has had some tough yards tonight. We saw him get a second. He's got his 1-yard touchdown run. It was on second effort. And now that one right there was the first time he really had open field in front of him. He had a nice head of steam going, and the defender from behind grabbed him and caused the ball to pop out of there. It was Charles Adkins, number 67, that allowed the ball to pop up, and then Tyler Olette, number 10, reeled it in.
Olette ran off the field, and when he's not on the field, number 12, Alex Simmons, is the quarterback. And let's see who they finally decided on. Ouellette hands it off to the left tailback. Big gaping hole up the middle. Picks up first down yardage inside the 25.
And this is reminiscent of how Redford Union started the game. And they started out the same way in that wishbone, Ted. Then they quickly got away from it, but they did find some success up the middle on Garden City, and then they went away from it. Now here in this early in the second half, they've come out in the wishbone attack, and let's see what they do now. And they're going to stay in that formation, Ted.
Ouellette under center. Turns around, hands same play, this time going off the between the right guard and the right tackle.
Tommy Dawson.
Trimble were running off.
A couple speedsters in there too. Manya Tate. And, of course, Jalen Smith, who broke off that 90-yarder. So numbers 3 and number 4, they're the speedsters. As now they break out of the wishbone formation, Ted, and they're going with a spread offense.
I don't see Smith in there. Ouellette keeps the ball, toss out around the corner. Dawson stutter steps, gets inside, picks up great yardage inside the 20, down close to the 15.
Be a late flag, Ted. The whistle was primarily blown, and the back judge saw something that he didn't like. So it could be
holding number 10.
Ouellette, after he pitched the ball back to Dawson, held somebody. Well, let's see if we can pick up the hold on here. Number 10's the quarterback, and right here.
Well, he got clotheslined, so.
Well, maybe he held whoever clotheslined him.
Well, it was more like a personal foul as he came in at the last second and bulldozed someone from behind. But they did call a holding call. I didn't see it. He got clotheslined at first, and then he came back with vengeance. And here's Simmons now, Ted, in the shotgun formation.
He's the passer of the two. Throws a rifle and caught around the 23-yard line by number 22, hauled that one in.
Tyler Price.
And you like that bullet pass. You like when there's a little mustard on it.
Absolutely. So here we are early in the third quarter. Garden City received the kick and fumbled the ball over to Redford Union, and Redford Union is trying to drive to kind of tighten this game up. I had come out of the halftime, said that Garden City had a fairly comfortable 21-7 lead, but at this point, Ted, I may have to eat those words.
Shimmons, the quarterback, he's back to pass. Throws it, he's got a man wide open, and at the last minute, it's knocked down by one of the stars of the first half, 25, Hellam. Dylan Hellam put his hand up, knocked that one down.
John Giangrande was down in there too, and that ball was kind of, there were two Redford receivers in the same area. Number 3, Manya Tate was wide open, and had that ball had a little bit more on there, Tate might have garnered it in. He was in the end zone also. It was kind of one of those tweeners. It was in between the two receivers, allowed the Garden City defenders to close on it and knock it down.
I don't see number 4 in there. Smith caught all the passes last week. Back to pass again. Thrown to the outside, and it's intercepted.
I think it's Hallam.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And a great interception. That pass looked wide open.
Hallam, what a terrific play. He was playing center field on this one, Ted. Perfect positioning by Hallam, and he would probably tell you that he had it all the way, but I'll tell you what, if that ball would have been out there a little bit, it would have been just a great play by Dylan Hallam.
Well, let's see if Garden City can take this turnover and make something happen. We've had a fumble and an interception here to start the third quarter.
The way Hallam's been playing tonight, I would have to say all league. He has had this is the league opener for both of these teams, Ted, and we called his number many times in the first half of finishing off a lot of those tackles or being the lone tackler. That time a nice interception right there at a key point in this game, and Dylan Hallam is basically, I'm talking all league right now.
Verdurko picks up 6, quick no-huddle offense. Saunders breaks a tackle across the 50, down to the 47 of the Panthers for the first down. So 2 quick plays. That was off the right side between the guard and the tackle.
Things are getting a little chippy out on the field too, Ted. If you notice, a couple of Redford Union guys, it started with Olette getting a penalty down there. They called it holding, but I think there was actually a personal foul. And now if you watch the end of that play, a couple of jerseys, a couple of Red Union guys had a hold of Garden City jerseys, swinging them around.
Kyler Hubbs, the quarterback, back to pass. Throws it across the middle. Incomplete. Ball's on the ground, no good. Intended for Saunders, number 11. You're saying Sanders, I've been saying Saunders, and I'm usually wrong, so I'll go back to Sanders.
Well, it's hard to think on a night like this of a hot fudge Sunday. Saunders, hot fudge Sunday, so you're not too far off. Oh, right there. That ball had maybe a little too much mustard on it, Ted. You got to have the right amount of mustard on your dog.
There's a discussion here. I'm not sure what the discussion is. They bring the ball back to the original line of scrimmage, which is about the 46.5.
It seems like ever since that Kyler Hubbs threw that interception on that, they basically threw it up for grabs, he has really been rifling that ball in there. That time, probably a little bit too much rifle.
Back to pass. Same play, and it's incomplete. He caught it for a second. He got smacked around a little bit. Watch this. You'll see a little pinball action.
I think that's Malik Hadley that came in and just blasted Sanders from behind, shook the ball right out of there. That was a nice throw right there, Ted. I was just bringing it up about too much mustard. I thought he had the perfect amount of touch on there. It's just that there was a forearm shiver delivered from behind by Malik Hadley, and it shook the ball loose from Sanders.
Hand out to Verdurko. He spun around as it hit the line of scrimmage. he may have picked up, got to the original line of scrimmage, and then he was blasted. And nothing doing there as Garden City's drive is stopped.
Well, that was good to get Federico back in there after that interception.
We have an injured Panther. This is a couple plays ago. Watch the hit here.
Yeah, right there. It was actually a two-handed push. And, you know, all is fair in love and war and football. And he got him from behind and shook the ball loose.
Well, there's a lot of good. We're going to see a replay. We can see the injury. It's a nice field here, but
I think it happened early on, Ted, off to the right side. I think you're going to see it as this play starts developing. And a lot of times what happens in those motion plays like that when it's kind of a student body left, I think perhaps right in there, you see the kind of a high-low blocking situation come back, and then you'll see.
Well, that's one of the things they are addressing, especially starting at the pros and working its way down. You don't want to hit a player too high, and now they're saying let's take the legs out of the game. So you got to hit a player somewhere between the knees and the shoulders, and there's a lot of old timers that say they don't like that kind of football, but I honestly think that there's a great shot of Middle Belt and Maplewood. Beautiful Midtown Garden City. A great night. Friday nights are always a great night here.
Sports venue there in the background. One great place. They had a memorial out there, or a fundraiser, if you will, for the Vinnie Myers family. Since Vinnie's on our minds tonight, I remember that sign that they had out there. A really great place to, that they really put back into the community, Ted.
And you're seeing a lot more of that. As the IU player, you already documented a very short bench in there, and they lose. You got the number
44.
That's Tremblay.
Yeah, Ethan Tremblay limping off there. Looked like maybe his ankle got rolled. You sure hope that he can walk it off, Ted, and come back out here. No player wants to, end the game like that. They all want to get back out there.
Well, they'll take him on the sidelines, give him a few Skittles, and he'll be back. The healing capability of Skittles. And we have something new here, a new play here. Who do we have in punt formation there? Hubbs. I don't trust him, but Hubbs is back to punt. And he does punt. And it goes out of bounds.
Looking for that coffin corner. Ted, remember the coffin corner, how that used to be the big move in punting? And now you don't really hear that anymore.
I'm always a firm believer, especially when you have a team that's a tremendous speed. Do the honorable thing. Punt it out of bounds 30 yards down instead of trying to kick it 50 and let the guy run it back 90. You take control when they're going to take care of the ball,
Yeah, those some of those punts right down the middle and right into the end zone just seems like, kind of a waste of time. But we're here in the third quarter. Garden City's held a 21-7 lead this whole quarter, Ted. Once again, our scoreboard, our beautiful scoreboard, is down at this point. I see ladder over in the areas. They're trying to figure it out. It was working last night, and so could be one of those Christmas bulb things where one bulb goes out and the whole sign goes down, or
Simmons passes to Dawson. The ball's on the ground, and it's Cougar ball.
And guess who? Nope. It's going to be, I thought it was Nick the Hater.
One of the outstanding men that Coach Murray talked about.
And that was just in the right place at the right time for DeHater as the ball came out, and he was the only defender in the area. And here's the ball right there, and there's DeHater, and nice job of reeling that one in.
So the ball's inside the 30, around the 27. Let's see if Garden City goes to smash mouth football here as Hubbs is 3 yards behind the center. Hands it off to Federico. Federico covers it up as he tries to make it to the 25. He gets close.
Leroy Federico's been very busy tonight. Here in the third quarter, he's probably approaching 20 carries, Ted. Been a workmanlike night for Leroy Federico. He's done a great job. That's been pounding that center. They've been using the big boys up front, Ted, to pound the center of that Redford Union line.
Hand off to Federico. He spins across the 25, and he's pushed to 24, maybe the 23. And it'll be third down. Underwood has made the last 2 tackles for RU.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier when that fumble recovery, and I saw the number 2 on the jersey, and I thought it was Dylan Hallam, but he was in the area. Instead, a nice recovery.
Brown Bako is across the 20. He's got first down. He gets inside the 20, and he's got first down. The little extracurricular activity handling there.
This is going to be second effort here, Ted, on the replay. Right there, Wren got stood right up, and he was stood up short of the first down, and then just really, instead of going down, he just kept his wits about him, kept driving forward, and got that extra 2 yards necessary for the first down.
John Nesmith and Nick Edney, a little dancing on the sidelines after the play. Hubbs gives it to Federico, and he's met right as he gets the ball. And there's some more dancing going on between the same 2 partners, and they're selling each other wolf tickets at the moment.
Well, they might be just exchanging biology answers, quiz answers.
Either that or, telling each other who they're rooting for on the WWF or whatever they're watching these days. Yeah, they've been going at it after each play. In motion is Saunders, gives it to Brown Bako. Bako finds a hole inside the 15, trying to find his way down to 10. RU is trying to strip him of the ball. And I assume they're in fourth down territory.
That's that counter play right there, as you see Brown Bako getting the handoff on the inside play, and that's a lot of that is all set up, by the hard running by Leroy Federico, and it opens up just that little gap, just a little bit off between the tackle and the guard, Ted, and they've been finding some nice seams in there, and I'm talking about Brown, Bako, and also Sanders.
Saunders on the counter going the other way, inside the 10, down toward the 5. Nice run going off the right side this time. Number 11 having a nice night tonight. 3:40 on the third quarter. No score here in the second half. No scoring here in the second half. The score is 21-7 Garden City. All the scoring in the first half.
It's fourth down. And
no, first and goal, isn't it? Federico up the middle of that line, and those big guys up front just pushing it.
So without our scoreboard here, we're going to have to. I'm sure that wasn't a fourth down play.
That was first and goal. Now it's second goal to go, about 2 football lengths.
Yes, you're right on, Ted, as usual.
I wouldn't be surprised if those big uglies up front just push it across the line.
Well, this point right here, they for Redford Union, Kyler Hubbs, number 9, the quarterback. They got to watch for him, and also Leroy Federico. Federico coming off tackle, and he just walks into the end zone. And they like to see Federico get something like that, because he's certainly taken a pounding tonight. A nice little 2-yard run by Leroy Federico opens up the scoring here in the second half.
Watch the push of the offensive line. Well, they could have handed it off to Perderko's little sister, and she would have scored. They could have handed it off to the girl in the truck, and she would have scored.
Dylan Hallam looking to add one. And that one's perfect for Hallam, as he is now 1 for 3 kicking.
And what you saw there on that drive, Phil, is just basically the dominant. And I've been saying this all night, as an ex-lineman, when you can celebrate that kind of blocking and that kind of dominance, and like I told you, football's an easy game. If your big uglies beat my big uglies, you win. You know, and the big uglies for Garden City are just marching up and down the field, and the backs are following them.
Absolutely, they're doing a nice job varying up the attack. They're coming inside and outside. They're coming from the left side, coming from the right side. So they're showing confidence in the entire line, Ted. They're not just running over one particular side. And that's kind of keeping Redford Union really from digging in and stopping some of those plays. But just be real clear how this started. It was the interception by Dylan Hallam as he went high in the air and got in front of the receiver and returned it back to the 40-yard line. And then it was all the big uglies, as you call them, from there on down. But Dylan Hallam, because it was 21-7 at that point, Redford Union was knocking at the door. That was the play of the game so far.
Hallam kicks it into the end zone for a touchback. I have a grandson that plays football, and I've been trying to talk him into being a lineman, but he looked me straight in the eye and said, "Grandpa, linemen don't get girls, quarterbacks do." So guess what position he's playing?
Yes, I can imagine.
He told me that.
Well, this is, we have certainly given the linemen a lot of their due tonight. I hope we haven't missed anybody down there. Numbers come in and out, and sometimes they're hard to read from here, Ted, but those guys have just done a great job dominating this football game.
We got Simmons throwing it down the field. He's got a man, catches it over his head. And it's completed around the 44-yard line with a great catch.
Well, Simmons just airs this one out, and Tyler Ouellette, I think he throws it as far as he can, and Tyler Ouellette just runs as fast as he can, and just a nice catch right there. Had he not concentrated on reeling that in and keeping his feet in bounds, he might have taken a little bit of a gamble and tried to go for a bigger play, but he did the right thing and reeled that one in. That was the old Sandlot play, if you ever saw one. I'm going to throw it as far as I can, and you run as fast as you can, and that's what happened.
And off to number 3 at 22.
That's Manya Tate.
DeHater came across the line and gave a little love to Tate.
Manya Tate here, number 3.
Watch DeHater come across the line here. He's on him right now. Right now, no chance.
And that's what's happening is DeHater and Hallam have just made a living tonight getting what's left over, what those linemen are setting them up for. Those linemen are doing such a great job of holding their blocks or creating little seams for those linebackers and the safeties to get in there and get those tackles.
Back to pass again, throws it high off the outstretched arms. Is that Dawson out there? Ouellette.
That's Ouellette again on the left side. He had Ouellette open. If he'd had a little better throw, and he probably would have had him right there, as now Redford Union trailing in this game 28-7. And here deep into the third quarter have decided to open it up and going to the air, Ted.
Their go-to receiver last week was number 4, Jalen Smith. And I got the glasses on the other side. I do not see Smith on the field. Oh, there he is. He's back in the backfield. Smith has the touchdown tonight. He caught all 3 passes from Simmons last week. The ball is fumbled, picked up by Simmons. He's being chased, and Number 51 comes across.
Chad Ford.
Chad Ford buries him at the 40-yard line, and Garden City showing a little defense.
And this is the second time we've seen Chad Ford make a tremendous individual play deep into the backfield like that. He's basically unblocked right there, Ted, as he came from the right side and the right end position. And we saw that happen in the first half where he tracked down the quarterback like that. He's shown not only speed, but they've just kind of not paid attention to him out there. Chad Ford does a nice 2 times now tonight. I've seen him do great individual jobs, bringing down players for losses.
The lone back with Simmons is Smith. Smith's got the touchdown tonight. Back to pass again.
And there's Ford again.
And a little dump pass to Smith. Smith across the 40, stutter steps, 45. And that was a planned screen up the middle as Smith just waited.
And I watched Chad Ford as he's the one coming into your picture with a full head of steam and would have had the sack again, but just a little dump off and then a great positioning there by the Hader as the Hader stood his ground and didn't take on, watched all the different fakes by, that was Smith on that one, and didn't move, didn't let him juke him at all. Held him until and there's Smith hobbling off, Ted, across the far sidelines.
Yeah, he's been limited his play here in the third quarter.
But I watched Chad Ford on that one, and he's coming from the right defensive end, but he split out probably 4 yards on the other side of the tackle, of the defensive tackle, so that's allowing him to really get a nice rush as Leroy Federico
across the 40, 35, and he is spun down. Yeah, and he's asking for a face mask, and he's not going to get it. Number 5.
Tyler Hathaway.
Spun him down. You call it at home. You got a flag, and you can throw it here. Go ahead.
Here it comes, right. Boy, it's hard to see from that angle. He definitely was high.
That's a penalty in the NFL. That's horse collar.
Yeah, I was going to say right around the top of the shoulder pads right there, but usually when a runner changes directions that dramatically, something wasn't right.
Federico leans forward for about 2, maybe 3, and he's brought down by number 20, Marquise Hathaway.
Here's Federico, nice clean handoff right there as he heads to the outside.
And here's the horse collar. See, it's right around the shoulder pads. That's a penalty in the NFL.
Big third down play for Garden City deep into the third quarter. Once again, our scoreboard is not working.
Little quick pass, quick hitter on a slant route by Kevin Brown-Bacon, and he falls forward to the 25. Brown-Bacon.
Timeout, White.
Well, that's why Brown-Bacon is going to be an all-leaguer right there, Ted. They've seen that happen 2 times now, where he caught the ball, but he still kept driving forward. In this case, probably just those extra drive got him that extra yard to make sure that he got that first down.
Well, anytime Brown-Bacon leans forward, it's 2 extra yards. He's 6 foot. We had a timeout here just before the end of the third quarter. RU calling timeout. There's no wind advantage or anything, so I'm not sure. There you see the Garden City Hubs, the quarterback who's gone all the way. He's a junior. This is his 2nd year at the Hub, so to speak.
Yes, Garden City's in good hands with him as their quarterback for the remainder of this year and next year. And he's made some very good decisions, Ted. There's sometimes we've seen him call his own number, and other times you see he's got the size too. And now we see his pass. After he got intercepted, he's really kind of been a little more conscientious of getting that ball in there. So, this was a good growing experience for the junior. And I'd say the Garden City football team's in really good hands for the next rest of this season and next season also, with Kyler Hubbs back there.
Kyler's got 1 second on the clock as he's facing the north end zone. Garden City trying to score again here. Back to pass. Arches it in the corner.
Beautiful
touchdown!
play.
Garden City.
Alex Bush Alex Bush, number 2, had to wait for that one to come down, but just tremendous touch did Kyler Hubbs put on that one into the corner.
25-yard pass play from Hubbs. And Garden City takes a 34-7 lead. We've got a replay, check that out.
The bottom of your screen.
Hamill out of the hold of Clark. Clark on one knee. The snap, the place, the kick. And it's good!
Extra point.
35-7.
That was at the end of the third quarter. Well, I've been impressed with the Redford Union
That's the end of the third quarter.
Garden City defense has just come up big. Sans that broken 90-yard touchdown run, the broken play that I call it, Garden City's been in control here as they've just really allowed Redford Union to operate between the 20s, if you will, on offense and their defense. But now that offense is really starting to, fire on all cylinders right there. That was a beautiful pass play by Kyler Hubbs as he found Alex Bush in the corner, where normally you would think that the double team is going to go to Brown Bako. There's Alex Bush. So that's another the real importance of developing that second receiver, Ted.
Well, the interesting thing about tonight is Garden City's getting a lot of yardage on offense. They got a lot of yardage, but they didn't convert. They didn't put the ball in the end zone. I mean, they had 383 yards of offense last week. Now they've got to have 300 yards tonight. But they're putting the ball in, and they've got 3 touchdowns of 1 yard.
Absolutely.
They are just pounding the ball and, dominating the line of scrimmage. And basically, Hubbs can do whatever he wants to be on that line of scrimmage. He can dance, he can sing, he can, whatever he wants to, because he has got that much protection.
Well, it's been a masterful job of play calling also by the offensive coordinator that's calling the plays, whether it's the head coach or a coordinator. Ted, they have really kept Redford Union off balance with a series of inside-outside runs to real effective seams that they've been finding. And then also Leroy Federico has set up a lot of that, Ted, with his ability to stick his nose into those piles, if you will, and really take those tough yards 1 and 2 at a time.
Cheerleaders are dancing here at the opening game here. And the Cougars have an advantage this year. I think I'm not sure. They might have 6 home games. We'll have to take a look at that schedule, but I think they have got a ton of home games this year.
You're right on the money, Ted. This is a home game the next week against Annapolis, and we'll get the remainder of the games up there so that you can see. And of course, with this big crowd, and they're cheering on these cheerleaders. Did they do 35 push-ups? I missed it if they did.
No, they were too busy square dancing.
I can't blame them.
Here goes the start of the fourth quarter. Redford Union with the ball. Shotgun formation. Simmons passes it Dawson. Dawson breaks free, across the middle, breaks a tackle, 40. He tries to get the outside 50. Stutter steps down to 45, inside the 40. Push forward to the 35-yard line on a fantastic run by Tommy Dawson.
Absolutely, and this play was made the touchdown-saving play by Nick Clark right here. You watch Nick Clark as he comes into the picture right there, number 6. Slows him down just enough, and then I believe Edney, and allows everyone else to get back in the picture. That was number 32 that came in there, Brandon Grace. It was after, though, a great job by Nick Clark as he had the angle on him, unlike that 90-yard touchdown run where no one had the angle on the runner. This time, Nick Clark did a great job of slowing down Tommy Dawson.
Back to pass. We have a whistle. And, let's talk about Nick Clark for a second. Nick Clark came from the far corner. Nick Clark is playing the left corner, and he came all across the field to slow that play out. Great hustle.
And there was a little bit of a stumble there by Dawson, And here we're talking about the schedule, and you see that first game there. We're going to wipe that one right out. We're going to put some white out over that a little later on here. But then you've got the home games you were talking about, Ted, and you're exactly right. You see Redford Union, and then Annapolis, and then Robichaud. That's going to be a great game. And then you got Edsel Ford, another highlighted game right there. That's going to be on TV. And then, of course, Detroit Osborne coming into that. And then the final game against Franklin, a team you know a little bit about, coming in here.
I can't talk to the coaches for the rest of the season.
Redford Union trying a little power football to try and match what Garden City's been getting away with. And I think the ball carrier was stacked up for virtually no gain. But back to talking about Nick Clark and how he came from all the way across the field. And he didn't get the tackle, Ted, but he got a lot of credit for slowing the runner down and allowing his teammates. You never give up, and the teammates didn't give up, and they were able to reel him in and save a touchdown on that.
Brandon Grace on the bottom of that pile. Clark calling signals for the defense.
We're early on in the fourth quarter. Garden City up comfortably 35-7.
Back to pass is Simmons. Off on 22's hand.
Tyler Price. Boy, that one hit him in a bad spot, they say, the hands. He was wide open on a crossing pattern right there, Ted, and that should have been 6 points.
I want to make a quick point here. The scoreboard is not working, so we try to give you the time as often as possible. But here's the evidence, Sherlock Holmes. It was working last night during the soccer game. As soon as the soccer game ended, it quit working. So I'm not blaming the soccer game, but the evidence is evidence.
Well, that could be what they call a football on football crime.
Our director's going to shoot us. Simmons, the quarterback. Alex fakes it to Dawson, throws it across the middle.
Wow, all kinds of tangled up down there.
And there's some handkerchief on about the 13-yard line. And now there's one at the 9-yard line.
That's probably not going to be offensive interference over there, but there was all kinds of tangled up in that. And the receiver fell down, the defender fell down, and the flags flew in. But did you notice how
pass interference on the defense, 15-yard penalty.
Is how Simmons threw that. It was almost like he was back off of his back foot, just like that. He just threw a strike out there. And of course the damage was done just as the ball is coming into our picture, as the receiver goes down in a heap with the defender. The defender unfortunately was called for interference. This one's a 15-yarder.
Yeah, unlike the pros where it's a spot foul. And a lot of time between plays here. Clock is stopped on the incompletion.
Redford Union trying to make a game of this. This is 35-7. We're deep in the, well, probably midway through the fourth quarter.
10:44, we're told by Dan York.
So we're just into the fourth quarter.
Ouellette split to the far side. Pitched out behind the back. It's on the ground. And usually the players will tell us who has it.
Looked like Redford Union fell onto that. But out there, that was a precarious.
Simmons went beyond the back and he threw it behind. Ball's been on the ground a lot for Redford Union. Through their hands 3 or 4 times, a couple fumbles, an interception.
Well, that time Simmons made a break for himself in the quarterback option. Then he decided to pitch it at the last minute and just threw it behind. In that case, you want to throw it ahead of the ball carrier. In this case, he threw it behind him. And luckily for Union, they were able to fall on the fumble. And Garden City pushes them back 5 yards or so.
RU trying to get the ball into the end zone. Simmons on the run. He's being pursued. He tosses it. It's high and incomplete.
Well, we have official right on the sideline too, and we got a chance to take another look at this one as Simmons will show me something on this, Ted. He kind of lumbers his way out there, but he still has the wherewithal to get rid of the ball. A nice little touch pass.
That was the key word, Phil, touch. 88 Boggs.
Wow. Great. I didn't get an eye on that defender right there, but the defender was all over him like a second shirt.
It's third down. They have to get about 6 yards.
We tried to gather the number on that replay. A great job, you know, giving us the replay and even in the slow motions, but just couldn't get credit for that number.
Little screen to 21, Dawson, and Dawson breaks a tackle. Another shirt tackle, and he's down inside the 10.
He's going to pick up a first down too, Ted.
Watch how far Simmons goes back on that play. It was like a 12 or 15 yard drop setting that screen up.
Dawson shows us a lot when he gets out in the open field. He's got some tremendous speed.
Ball's on the 7, first and goal.
There's about 9 minutes left to go in this game. I guess the scoreboard not working.
Dawson up the middle, across the 5. He's tackled and spun down around the 3. He picks up 4 on that first down play. It'll be second and goal at the 3.
Timeout's going to be called.
Timeout, Black.
Garden City calls timeout here in the fourth quarter.
Nice spot for a timeout right there, Ted. I mean, you're comfortably up 35-7, but all of a sudden we're starting to see Union really moving the football. So there's 9 minutes to go in this game, and a lot of things can happen. So it's a great time for a timeout. And we look at that Union schedule coming up, and boy, they've got Robichaud and Romulus coming up, and then they get kind of a breather there with a basically a forfeit win against Inkster. And then, of course, Annapolis is an up-and-coming program, and Clarenceville, we're not sure about them. And then to finish it off with 2 big heavyweights there, Crestwood and Thurston.
But tell the fans how good Robichaud, because we're going to see Robichaud, how good Robichaud was last year.
They had one player that I think is probably the most talented football player I've seen on any field anywhere. I think he ended up signing up for Western. They came out, they had big play receivers, and they put about 21 points on the board just like that before you could even catch your breath. And all Grosse Ile did is score the next 10 times they had the football. It was one of the most phenomenal games I've ever seen.
There goes Simmons trying to get to the corner. He's going to dive across the goal line for the touchdown. A nice run. It was just a naked bootleg almost as he headed toward the pylon. Watch him just ball out like a loaf of bread, and he dives across.
Used his size over there, Ted, to really to ward off the defender, and then just kept going, and then he stretched out over the goal line, and that's going to be 35-13. And one would assume they're going to go for 2 right now. But I've watched it.
Unless there's a 22-point conversion, then they'll go for that.
There might be something in the rule book. Like if all 11 players can touch the ball on a 2-point attempt, they just give you 2 points.
Across
for
the
each
middle,
man.
and
That ball was
no good. It was caught, a little fight for it, knocked out of his hands. So it remains 35-13 here in the fourth quarter. Watch this one, Phil. I think he caught it, and then they fought to get across the line, and they knocked it out of his hands.
Oh, yeah, he didn't get across the line, You're exactly right, Ted. And then the Garden City defenders, just as the offensive guy was trying to get into the end zone, the defenders were busy slapping the ball out.
It truly amazes me for a totally blind man like myself to accidentally get some of these plays right.
Ted, you've got that football eye. That was and that was just more evidence of it right there.
We want to, as we have a little timeout, the flag is draping, but we want to thank all the, make sure you check the credits, and we got a lot of talented people bringing you this game, and all under the guidance of Dan York, who the other day was honored by the city for his 30 years of service to Garden City and the communications in Garden City, both cable and web and webcasting and hosting the parade and eating a lot of chicken from the Kentucky Fried and all kinds of other things that Dan has done.
Well, that's Kentucky Fried Chicken right there at the corner of Harrison and Ford Road. A family-owned and operated business for many years, and of course, Lona's Pizza from right down the street.
And you know what? The young man turns 50, so he's been doing this since he was a baby.
Well, this community is very fortunate to have a guy like Dan York because, boy, he really loves what he does. He puts a lot of passion into it, and he puts together a first-class operation. All the volunteers, you know, we can't mention all their names. They just do a terrific job. They come in here and they love what they do. As an onside kick is happening, and number 52 gets an opportunity. Nick Edney. Look what I have.
And one of the big uglies come up at the ball, and he gets 5 yards on a carry here.
Yeah, that's something when you're one of the big guys up front laying blocks, and then you're also part of the all-hands team.
Well, you know, he'll be in practice on Monday telling Coach Murray to give him a few carries, you know.
I could see him in the fullback position. He'd
Little
be quite a
freak.
load.
Hey, we got some KSC. You're supposed to say nice things about KSC now here, Paul.
Absolutely. I mean, come on, owned and operated by the Bogalskis, and, you know, that's a great place right there. They are one of the top KFC franchises in the entire country. They just do a terrific job out of there, and, man, who's not to like the original recipe, Ted?
Hubbs over the 41 on a keeper as he picks up close to 6. We'll call him a long, well, exactly 5, but they're going to put it right on the chalk on the 40-yard line. Yeah, big number 77 over there. I've been talking about him all night, Jay England. He doesn't even go to the huddle. He just knows that he's going to knock somebody on their keister, and so he just says, I don't care what play you call, I'm just going to knock somebody down. Federico, big. I am telling you, all Federico did was wait for the offensive line to move Redford Union back, and he picked up. Watch this. You describe this.
Absolutely. You know, he just kind of picked his way in there, and the Union players were backing up as Garden City was just steamrolling them at that point. And just a great job because Federico's really small in stature, just what you want out of a running back like that, and he can hide behind some of those bigger players, and then, whoops, there he is.
There, he's got the ball again. This time he's, you know, one thing that's we haven't talked all night, Garden City has been met at the line of scrimmage, but they have not been met behind the line of scrimmage. If the best part of RU's hope is to neutralize them, but most plays they can't even neutralize them. So Garden City has really not even had a running play for a loss.
There's Brown Bako as he tries to wield his way for some big yardage, and there's going to be a late flag thrown in basically after this one's over. One could probably suspect personal foul time.
Yep, and it's against RU, so.
Personal foul, number 67, 15 yards.
I think this will be halfway. Its ball's around the 29, so this will probably go half the distance. Well, they can get 15 yards, can't they? Not half the distance. Half the distance if you're going backwards. I should read the rule book every once in a while.
Well, then you'd have to remember all that. So,
yeah,
just easier to just kind of go on the fly a little bit, Ted. Some of the fans at home that do know the rule book are going to get us anyway. So just go with the flow.
And my name is Phil Henry. Just
Well, on Vinnie Myers' jersey retirement night, Garden City has come out. Looked a little sluggish the first offensive series or two, Ted. Then they've kicked it into gear, and here we are late in the fourth quarter. Time ticking away. They're mauling the Redford Union Panthers now. It's 35-13. It's been a real nice, comfortable lead for the most part for Garden City. They pretty much had their way on both sides of the ball, Ted.
well, there's what I was talking about. That was a good play for RU, and Garden City gained one. I mean, they have not been able to stop that line. It's just been an outstanding night for the offensive line. For Durko, stutter steps, maybe picks up 2. Left side of the line between the guard and the tackle.
There you see blocks are just players are still number 52. You see him way down the field. We've called his number all night, Nick Edney. He's just done a fantastic job. I think he's going to be on the all-league team before this season's over with. A lot of players on both sides of the ball are the reason that coaches picked this Garden City team to win the Western Wayne Athletic Conference Blue Division, Ted.
John Giagrande in at tailback right now, and he picks up a yard or 2. Garden City wouldn't mind scoring, but basically they're just taking 35 seconds off the clock on every play here. As they have a 4th down, I think it is. Yeah, 4th and 9, 5 minutes. Hand it off to 81, who stutter steps inside. He spins around and he gets nailed, and it'll be RU ball.
Denzel Tinsley, the first time we've called his name tonight. And this is so important. You have a 35-13 lead. You know, these guys work hard. They play hard. They out here during Hell Week in August. You know, that's really that hot week when things start out. So it's great to give everybody some game time action, Ted. It keeps the whole team unified because somewhere during the course of the season you might need these guys, and it's important that they've been battle tested.
Well, you know, the saying now, a lot of teams have, if somebody gets nicked, it's next man up, and so you got to be ready. RU with the ball. Let's see if they got the same cast of characters in there. Shimon's number 12. Didn't start the game at quarterback, but he's played most of the way. He's back to pass, and he's going to arch it deep down the sidelines, and it's incomplete. Intended for the receiver at the 50-yard line.
Great defense out there by Brandon Mitchum. Number 24, Mitchum real close to pass interference there. Look at that's a great replay right there. And Mitchum did an excellent job. And Mitchum doing an excellent job on defense right there. And that was basically forced him out. He was right on the borderline of pass interference. So great job. And great camera work, too. They were right on it.
I think the directing was outstanding myself. Pass this way, and it's our man Hamill breaking that one up. 25's has a great game tonight. You see Hamill, the ball's a little short.
Yeah, he did all he could on that one. The quarterback just threw it where nobody could get it. And it was a downward trajectory And Hallam did his best, but just didn't have enough to scoop underneath of it.
3rd down.
35-13. Probably
Ball's,
about 4 minutes to go in this one, Ted.
Ball's at the 13. Simmons still back. Fakes a little screen pass. He's going to be planted inside the 5. 4th down. And I'm sure they'll think about.
I know Chad Ford was in on that. And number 53, Micah Trimble was in on that also. There was another couple of players that were in on that for Garden City. But once again, a guy who's getting just a terrific, consistent pass rush all night long has been number 51, Chad Ford.
66, I think Jacob Fuchs is in there now, Brandon Bulmer.
This is 4th down here, deep into the territory, and you're going to see, looks like he's in punt formation. A very shallow punt formation. That's what they're going to do.
He's going to pass.
Shimmons from deep in his own end zone, and oh, wow. Number 6 over there, Nick Clark, hit the receiver, I think at the same time the ball was going over his head.
That's legal.
Very close, though. Closer than what you'd want. As the ball was sailing high, Olette didn't really have much of a chance for it.
Garden City has the ball, 1st and goal. They do not need this touchdown, so let's see how they play it. I think we're going to get a new quarterback. Murray's upset because his 2nd team isn't ready to go.
You see
he's got
Brown
all new line
coming out there.
Let's see if Bako goes behind the center at quarterback, and he does. New center is 74.
Giangrande in the backfield from the pistol position, Ted. That's called the pistol now. You had the shotgun and head under center, and now the halfway in move is called the pistol.
Bako calling signals, hands it off. The ball is fumbled.
Right into Union's hands.
88 comes up with it.
Don't know, we're going to see in the replay here, Ted, if it was a bad handoff. You know, we got a new quarterback. It looked like timing right there. It looked like the timing was off just by a hair, and the running back coming from the left end was just a little bit too quick for Brown-Bako. And the ball was fumbled right into the Redford Union player's hands. I think number 88 on that one, and we've been calling that Keith Boggs tonight.
Alex Shimmons still back in at QB, and he's steps into the end zone, throws it down the field.
Olette.
And it's caught, and Olette has got nobody to beat, and he's going to waltz into the end zone on a 97-yard touchdown pass.
Olette, what an arm that kid has. You see him throw that one, Ted.
Shimmons to Olette, and I guess the key to the RU offense is to be over 90 yards away from Plater.
That's just how you draw it up right there, and just perfect positioning by Brandon Richards. There just wasn't much he could do about that when it's the fly pattern, Ted. We've seen that a couple of times. They've been successful
on the
on
clock?
it.
3 minutes, 7 seconds.
So that goes down in the books as a 97-yard touchdown catch and run, if you will, to Tyler Olette from Alex Shimmons.
And it was in the air for 50 yards. That was the impressive part. Shimmons is still telling people where to be.
35-19 as they're going to go for 2.
They're going to call a timeout and get everybody on the same page.
Timeout, White.
Just a tad over 3 minutes to go on that one. And you know what? That don't matter. Coach Murray's got something to coach on Monday.
Yeah, the big plays. That one, a fly pattern like that, Ted, is, you know, you obviously didn't see it coming. And it's kind of hard to double team when you're spread offense like that. It's kind of hard to double team, you know, the wide outs in that case. I guess you'd have to pay extra special attention to Olette out there, because he's certainly one of their weapons.
He was one-on-one on the corner, but you would think that the safety for Garden City would have been so deep that he couldn't get behind him. And that's, I think, something you have to address. That was one-on-one coverage, and you know they're not going to run the ball, so you take your safety and put him back 40 yards, and wherever he throws the ball, your safety has double coverage then. So
yeah, there was no question that Shimmons was throwing to Olette on that one. He basically just dropped back and
ball's on the ground and kicked around, and Dawson tries to get it. That extra point will be no good. So your score remains 35-19.
Our score with 3 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Garden City 35, RU 19.
So not quite the 49-27 game of last year, but needless to say, 50 points in this game.
Well, Garden City's been comfortably holding the lead. It's been those two huge plays. One of them I call it